it's Ariana. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a wear test on this $1 foundation that I picked up from the brand ShopMissA. So this is the brand AOA, and I have used some of their other foundations before on my channel in the past, and I really liked it. One of them being the BB cream that I have by them. They accidentally sent me the wrong color though. I was meant to get the BB cream light, and they accidentally sent me the one rich, which is going to be something that I'm going to have to repurchase again. They're only $1 though, so it's really not that big of a deal. I'll just order another one, but this is the one that I have been using for about a year now, and I really like it. So now this is their drop foundation rather than a CC cream. It's an actual foundation. So I am interested to see how it's going to work. So I got the color Buff, and I got the color Sand. So I'm not too sure which color will I be, because I do have a yellow undertone. So a lot of foundations tend to run pink on me, that I find that when I order online, just because I can't really test them and find my exact color match. So I may have to mix these two together to get the right skin tone for me, but I'm assuming it's going to be closer to this one. This one looks like it's going to be a little bit too dark for me, but it does look a lot more yellow than this one, so we shall see. So I have already done my eye makeup. I have not set my face yet or primed my face, so I'm going to use the No Problem Prime Essence just to prime my skin. And then I'm also gonna go in with a pore filling primer. So this is by the same brand, the No Problem Primer, and this is by the brand Touch and Soul. And I'm just going to put that onto my cheeks, my problem areas that I have a lot of pores there, and when I take photos, I have to smooth my skin, and it bothers me. And I also have a really big scratch on my face from my dog, because we were play fighting earlier and he got me good with his paw, that little frickin' bugger. But my skin is now primed and ready to go, so we can try this foundation. So this is the $1 makeup site, and I really like this. I like ordering their makeup just because it's really fun to try out and see if $1 items actually work or not. So this is the color, said it was Buff, so I think this one is going to be way closer to what I actually am, but I'm not too sure. It's hard to tell in the bottle. So I went with Sand and Buff because Sand was the next one up from Buff, and they didn't really say on their website like what the undertones were. So we shall see. Oh my god, I can't open this one. So, oh yeah, this looks like it's gonna be way too dark for me. So we shall see if I have to mix them or not. So I'm gonna start off with a little bit of Buff just on my hand, and we shall see. So it does have a really decent dropper, and this looks like it's going to be pretty orange on me as well. So I don't think I'm gonna try this one. This one definitely looks like it's going to be way too dark just by looking at this one on my skin tone. So I'm glad it was only $1 at least. So even this, I don't know if this is exactly my skin tone. I may have to mix other things in to get the right color, because I am very pale, and this looks like it is going to be way too dark, and that is the lightest one that I could find on the site that looked like it was going to match me. So as long as this doesn't oxidize, it may work fine, but if it oxidizes, then that will be a no. So it claims that it is a buildable foundation, so we shall see if it is. It's not actually that bad of a color. It is a little bit too orange for me. It is kind of sitting on my skin tone as a little bit orangey rather than being my actual undertone, but it doesn't look too bad. We shall see. I'm just going to rub it in to my hairline and my neckline so that it's not going to have a line. Probably could have gone one shade lighter and tried mixing in with those shades, but oh well. That's the problem with ordering makeup online. It's really hard to tell. So they say that this is a buildable foundation. So far, I'm not really liking the finish of this foundation. I think it looks really dry on my skin. It's not quite the right color. It's not terrible, but it's definitely not the nicest foundation sitting on my skin. It looks kind of dry, and it is settling into my fine lines and my pores really quickly. So that is kind of crappy. It also is not covering any of my breakouts. It's definitely not a full coverage foundation. I would say that this is very much a sheer light foundation. So if you didn't have a whole lot of acne or redness or anything to cover, you probably could get away with using this foundation, but this foundation so far is not covering anything at all. So I'm gonna try and focus just on this area and see if we can cover some of the breakouts I got. So it's not covering the breakouts that much. It is covering them a little bit, but not very much at all. This is a buildable foundation. They said I've done about 2 layers now of it. I've done quite a few pumps because it is very liquidy and it is like a drop foundation, so you do use a lot of product. And I'm just finding that the finish isn't as nice as some of the other ones that I've tried. The color actually isn't that bad. It is a little bit too orange for me, but it's not something that's going to be so so terrible that I can't get away with using it. Because I wish I had ordered just a lighter shade, one more shade up and mixed the two. It may have been the perfect shade for me, just because I'm kind of in between being really yellow and being really pale. So this foundation actually doesn't look too bad for the color wise, but as for the actual coverage of it, it's very light. So I'm going to turn down my light so you guys can see a little bit. So it is not covering my forehead breakout. It doesn't look terrible. Like I said, it kind of just looks like a very sheer light foundation. It's not the worst foundation I've ever tried, but it's not the best either. So if I zoom out, see how it, like, even on my camera, it looks like it looks way too light on camera, but in my mirror in like real lighting, it looks kind of orangey. So it kind of reminds me of when I was in high school when I would wear Maybelline foundation and it would be very orange. It's kind of what it reminds me of, but it's not the worst thing ever. I could probably get away with mixing a different foundation. This one is going to be way too dark for my skin tone. So again, like I said, it was too hard to tell just on a computer screen when I was ordering. So this is just going to be a bust. I may just give this away to my friend if they have more tanned complexion than I do, because I am very pale. So I could probably just give that to a friend, but it's only $1, so I really don't care. So I'm going to quickly go and do my concealer. I'm going to do my bronzer and stuff, and I will come right back so we can finish this, so we can start the wear test. So the second foundation that I grabbed, the sand one, was actually my boyfriend's sister, Jamie, her skin tone. So I gave it to her because she is more tanned than I am, apparently. How are you more tanned than me?
Ukrainian? I don't know.
Well, so am I. So I gave it to her so she can get away with using it. She said that it actually looks really nice in person. It doesn't look terrible. She says that like I pointed out that it's a little bit orangey in person, but she said that it's fine. It's not something that I couldn't wear, that it wouldn't be like terrible when I leave the house. So I just went ahead and put on a little bit of the ColourPop concealer, and I just concealed some of the breakouts. They're not completely gone, but whatever. So I'm gonna quickly go do my bronzer, finish up my eye makeup, and I will be right back. So this is the first check-in, well, first whatever finished look that I did for this foundation. So it is 4 o'clock right on the dot right now. We are going to a movie in the city, so I will check back in after. I probably only leave this foundation on for about 6 or 7 hours today, just because we're going for dinner and a movie in the city, but I will check back in a couple hours and let you guys know what I'm seeing. As for right now, it's sitting on my skin okay. The color match didn't oxidize anymore, so it is just kind of what I got. It is a little bit too orange for my skin, but it's not that terrible. I did this eye look. This was a really extreme eye look, but I do have glitter all over my face, and that has nothing to do with the foundation. So if it does start to come off in those areas, that's probably because of the glitter. But as for right now, it is sinking into all of my lines on my forehead. It is sinking into my smile lines, and I'm not really loving the finish of this foundation, but again, it is only $1, so really I can't be that upset. But I will check back in a couple hours and let you guys know my final thoughts. Okay, so I am back for the final check-in. So I didn't do any other check-ins for this video because I was literally out for a movie with my boyfriend and some of our friends, and I went for dinner with them as well. So I'm back at, it is 10:44 right now, so we started this wear test of this foundation at 4 p.m. today, and it is now 10:44, so it has been on for a significant period of time, and now it's time to give you guys my thoughts on it. So it has sank into all of my fine lines, it has sanken into my forehead, it is rubbing off on my forehead right here, so I would say that this definitely isn't a long wear foundation. It definitely doesn't look very good being on for 7 hours. It definitely has come off in a lot of places, but in some spots it still looks really good. So I think in the areas where you touch your face the most, like your mouth, I guess, your cheeks, if you have something that rubs against your forehead, like I have a wig on, it will come off on those areas. But as for the foundation itself, it still looks pretty nice. It isn't the worst look for foundation wise that I've ever used. It doesn't look terrible. It doesn't sit on my skin as nice as some of my other ones. I think I prefer my CC creams more than I prefer this foundation. This foundation is labeled a buildable foundation, so it's not necessarily going to be a full coverage foundation, so it's definitely buildable, which is kind of what I go for anyway. I like to go for more of a sheer coverage and build up, but I personally just didn't think that this foundation had enough coverage for me. Even though I was trying to build it up on my forehead where that breakout is, it still wasn't covering it. So I would say that this is definitely more of a light foundation. So if you are just looking to even out some skin tone, some redness on your face, or a little bit, just like the tiniest amount of acne, this may be a good foundation for you. For only $1, I would say that this is a pretty decent foundation. I definitely don't mind it. I will be using it again, but I'll probably be mixing it with a CC cream just because I want a little bit more of a better coverage in some of the areas on my face. But I would say that it is pretty good, especially for the price. So if you're on the market for a foundation, this one is only $1 and it is pretty decent. So if you're looking for a buildable light coverage foundation, this is definitely worth giving it a try. It is from the brand AOA, and I got the color Buff, and it's still a little bit of not the right color for me. It is a little bit kind of orange, but it is pretty close to my skin tone. It's just not quite there. I gave the other one to my boyfriend's sister just because it was way too dark for me, but I think this foundation is pretty decent. I'm going to be using it again, and I will be testing it out more in the future. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below for more content like this, and I will see you guys at the next video. Bye!